From Central Indiana's #1 news source, this is Fox 59 Tonight.
All right, we're back with more of our conversation here on Fox 59 Tonight about this scandal in the mayor's office that keeps adding chapter and chapter. All of it having to do with that guy right there, Thomas Cook, the person who I bet, the person who I wonder if the mayor says maybe I shouldn't have brought him back, because we wouldn't be having this conversation. Bringing him back and did he stay on the campaign are things that the mayor has issues with the reporting of our good friend Russ McQuaid about, to which Russ McQuaid says, I've been doing this for 50 years and I've got it on tape. I know what you said. So he's probably not happy. We know the mayor's not thrilled with Russ McQuaid right now. And I'll say the mayor's probably not going to be too thrilled with me, because the people that I have here in the studio, these people, Greg Meriweather and Samantha Douglas, are the co-hosts of the Black Briefing podcast, which they have to go do a taping after this. So we got to make sure this show wraps up on time, because people are just so busy, popular people. I say the mayor ain't going to be happy that you guys are here, because you guys are not giving the mayor any breaks.
No.
Why?
My community buries people every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Whether it's drug abuse, whether it's gun violence, whether it's domestic violence, whether it's, an array of things that at a mayor's level you should be handling effectively, and he's not. And this is literal lives on the line. No, you get no slack.
For me, being a person who was suspended for 3 days with no pay for basically calling a group of individual prostitutes, and the mayor wanted me terminated.
This is what I was hinting at earlier.
And
when he got pulled to the side.
the mayor wanted me terminated, and now you look and it's you, and you won't even take the step to resign, and you look at all the things, the lies, the phone call or the text, and all this stuff. If you would hold me to that standard, why wouldn't you hold yourself to that standard?
Comparing a group that walks the streets to prostitutes on social media is much less damaging than sexual harassment and sexual assault in the case of Thomas Cook.
Absolutely. And you allow Thomas say 68 more days.
68 more days for unspecified projects. Let's be clear. Even the lawyers who investigated this could not find the projects that he was working on.
Sure.
Okay. But what they did find is that there were plenty of opportunities set up for him post that job for him to have contracts and stuff to do and make money. So
Absolutely.
I would venture to say those 68 days was spent on that, but that's just my opinion.
Sure.
With these calls for him to resign, I don't know. I don't believe the mayor's going to resign. He has said he's not going to resign. I don't think he has any intention of that. But what is the temperature? Because we still got 2 more years, even if he doesn't resign.
I think that it's going to be a rough road.
I think we've already started to see it.
Yeah, I think that now. I think the city county the meeting is an indicator of what's to come, and I think that was just scratching the surface of just how rough it's going to be for the next 2 years. I think that you will see more uprisings and more people. I think there'll be more stuff that comes out, because when it's all said and done, again, you've got a group that doesn't have this level. There's obviously no discipline in our mayor. The report did say this. It's run like a frat house or something of that sort, right?
Yeah.
And then when you look, and again, when we talk about scandal and we talk about certain people in Hollywood and who are going through a lot of things, you see a lot of this happening now. The challenge with all these people who are in court or who have been in court about stuff like sexual assault or sexual harassment is they were surrounded by tons of people who said nothing.
Nothing.
He is in that category now.
Yes.
He is a person who has surrounded himself by people who will never hold him accountable.
Yeah.
And that only builds greater corruption.
This is what I suggest. Will the mayor resign on his own? No. He's much too arrogant. Okay.
Too arrogant.
And likes this power too much. However, what keeps him in power really, and what they value more than anything, and we've seen it. This is not just Samantha's opinion, but we've seen it, is money and where their money comes from.
Absolutely.
What I would suggest is that people begin to pressure his biggest donors which are some of the biggest names in our city.
Yep.
Okay. This is public information, by the way. You can just go and look at the campaign finance reports on the state's website. But you go and look at those, look at his biggest donors, and start to ask them, are you going to continue to support a sexual harasser? Are you going to continue to support somebody who behaves this way, who feels like they have unlimited power, who has unchecked power until the council proves otherwise? Are you going to do that? Are you going to continue to do that? And individually, that's what you can do too as a resident. You are a resident of this city. He is beholden. He works for us.
Absolutely.
You can ask these people, yo, is
So
this the leadership you're going to continue to support for us?
do you believe the mayor is also, as you were talking about Thomas Cook, I mean, he's being accused of sexual harassment. The mayor has been
Yeah.
accused of being overly casual and making some folks uncomfortable. But are you saying the mayor is also a sexual harasser, or is he a accomplice, or there's even another word, to sexual harassment?
I won't get sued for slander.
Okay.
It hasn't been categorized as sexual harassment. But
That's
I
right.
would say sending those text messages and what he said in them, and then continuing to badger her after she's ignoring you, is extremely inappropriate and walking that line very closely.
I think I'm looking forward to seeing what was left out.
No, that's a fact.
And after hearing that, I will then form an opinion at that point. I want to see the facts. And once I see the facts, then I'll say what I believe the mayor is. Right now, I think he's a little creepy. I think that he is
He can be awkward. If you've all talked to the mayor, he
sure.
can be
I
awkward.
think I think he abuses his power.
That's
I
a
think he's
fact.
created a culture of fear.
That's a fact.
And I think that when voters, when the community realizes just how volatile it is for the counselor, because they look around and they say, this guy's great, but they don't realize that these people are not speaking or holding him accountable because it will impact your daily life. I think at that point, if they get that, then we'll see some change.
Yeah, you should be angry.
They should be mad.
You should be angry that when a counselor is trying to do their job, that things in your community get delayed or pushed back, or there's some kind of retaliation that impacts your life because your counselor is actually showing up for you and doing their job.
Yeah.
That should make you angry.
It
should make us all angry.
Yep, agreed.
So we've all made a mistake in life, and
Sure.
we've all, hindsight is 2020, and you know where you have that moment where you're like, man, I was, even if, especially when you didn't do something intentionally, but like, man, I was good up until right there, and had I made a left instead of a right, made this decision instead of that one, we wouldn't be here right now. I wonder if the mayor feels that way about Thomas Cook, because okay, you had him in 2015, but then we can go back and forth about 2016 and what capacity and who he was working for. Nevertheless, you brought him back into your orbit, no matter if you want to say it was the mayor's office or the candidate's race, which you have the right to do, yada, yada, yada. But I'm wondering now in 2025, if the mayor is like, man, that 2023, bringing him back really wasn't all that. You both have been involved in campaigns. Is Thomas Cook all that, where it's like, man, you got to have Thomas Cook in here?
Let me tell you. No. Okay, so there's that short answer. But also, that's just, people are quiet about things like this, usually because it's in their best interest to be quiet. Okay? So if Greg knows where my bones are buried, I'm going to make it my business to know where his bones are buried. And that's going to keep us both quiet about whatever things. And that may also keep Greg on my payroll. That may also keep Greg on my orbit, and all of that. So I think I'll say that. I think it's more complex than does he think, oh man, I should have just not brought him back. I think it's more complex than that.
I agree with that.
And
Has to be, because
has to be, in the level of arrogance that he has. People like this do not they don't get caught with their hand in the cookie jar and say, dang, I shouldn't have had my hand in the cookie jar. They get mad at the person who caught them.
Yeah.
They get mad at the person who told. They get mad at the fact that they're in a jar to begin with. Like that is what arrogant, narcissistic people do.
I think that I would love for the report, or for whatever comes in the future. I would love for someone to get into the phone
Mm-hmm.
and see how much he communicated with Thomas Cook even after 68 days. And I believe that at that point we will realize how deep that relationship runs. I think right now we're playing with it, but I think that the mayor has a relationship with Thomas Cook that goes beyond the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they're buddies. I've seen pictures. I've seen a lot of stuff that a mayor would not allow his chief of staff to do. So at the end of the day, I think that if the council makes the right decision, they'll look into the report and they'll say, how many times did he communicate with him even after he was gone? And I think at that point they'll find out something, because I believe that Thomas Cook is still around.
It's tough. It's tough to see a victim compare the two of them. Even in like she said it was triggering that he brought up poetry, because that was also something Thomas Cook brought up.
Facts.
Birds of a feather.
Yeah, eagles don't fly with geese.
And let me tell you, that all of this is red flags. That's what I'll say. I'll say all of these things are red flags of a powerful person, that it's going to take a lot for people to come forward. And I think we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. I think, much like I said about Senator Greg Taylor, that at this point, you just need to try to protect yourself and resign for yourself. Like, not just, I mean, we would love for you to do it for us because you suck, but do it for yourself. Like, before anybody else comes forward to share anything else even more damning. Like, I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire, y'all.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We've seen this over and over and over.
We didn't even talk about the advice, like tell me what I should do.
Correct.
All that kind of stuff. What is that implying?
So we know this is a mayor who has had everybody has a personal life, but unfortunately with the mayor, his stuff kind of leaks out into the public, and it feels like, and I don't know.
Because you're a mayor, there's a higher bar.
Well, yes, but I'm saying it just feels like he's talking, hinting about something in his personal life that he just wants to talk to somebody about. And he feels overly casual.
A 20-some-year-old woman is the person you think has this great wisdom for you in your personal. Yeah, I doubt it.
I don't know.
I doubt
it. He texted. We don't know what he wanted.
And then his wife filed for divorce 50 days before his election.
Well, and I'm sure if you go to the Substack that Lauren Roberts put, I think it looks like a lot of her frustration is that as she started raising issues, and even as she left, doors are starting to be closed on her, where she was sending text messages to people she worked with, and suddenly I'm not getting a text back.
Yeah.
But one of the people that she was texting, which I'm sure made for interesting conversation at home, is Joe Hogshead's wife.
Oh.
Here's a text where from 2017 where she says, I texted Hogshead's then wife, Steph. She does not reply until the following morning. This is in 2017. She says, hi, Steph. This is Lauren Roberts on a new number. I hope you're well, and I have something sensitive and private that I need you to talk about. It's not about Joe, so don't worry. But I do need to connect if possible. Is there a time we could hop on a phone call? Thank you. It's about Thomas. Hi, may I call you? She says the next day. Sorry, I was asleep last night. She says, hi, Steph. Sorry, we had a late night with the friend in town. I'm awake now and can chat anytime. I do work today, but I can step out. Nothing happened after that. Then that was at 8 in the morning. 5:47. She says, hi, Steph. I'm done working and available to talk all evening. Then 8 o'clock. She sends another text and get a text back. So, again,
The part that says it's not about Joe, so don't worry, says a lot.
Yes.
That's what I was going to ask y'all about. What is your reaction to
Yes.
that?
No, this is all this literally, this is what I'm telling y'all right now. This is all red flags. This
Yeah.
is all this is
How so? Explain.
this is all saying it's not about Joe, so don't worry. Insinuating that if it was about Joe, she wouldn't talk, or that there's been instances where there were talks about Joe,
Sure.
and this isn't something his wife wants to hear.
Sure.
Which, as a wife, I could imagine.
I was going to say,
right?
but as a wife, though,
as a wife, I could imagine that. But this is exactly what I'm talking about, y'all. We can't, like, how long, we talked about this with Lena, we talked about this with other folks. How long are we going to ignore red flags? It's like doubting Thomas. It's literally like doubting Thomas. You remember he's like, until I can put my hand in Jesus' side, I just won't believe it. And that's just how we are. We see all the red flags, we see all the smoke, but it's like, until my toes are literally on fire, I just can't believe it. And it's just like, this is the thing. I'm not trying to convince you to throw away Joe Hogsett as a person, or he's a monster, or he's the devil himself, right? I'm not trying to convince you of that. It's like, but can we at least admit, though, that this is not somebody who should be in leadership of our city? Like, that is all that we're saying. With all of these things, with all of these pieces, with all of these red flags, can we at least just say, listen, at the very least, he should not be mayor?
I just think that I don't like the fear. I don't like the fact that our city is being ran by someone that people fear.
Yes.
And when it's all said and done, I think that you see the neglect based on the fear.
Yeah.
It's like, who's willing to say the streets are horrible and there needs to be something done about it? This is not working. This person's not a leader. You look at all these appointments. I'll have to say it. It's like, what happened to Ben Tapper? We don't hear from him. What happened to Ralph Durrett? We don't hear from him.
First of all,
What
I love
happened?
both of them. That's great.
But no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not dissing them. I'm saying that they have no voice in the positions that they were put in.
No, that's
So all of a
which
sudden,
Ralph talked about on this show.
so all of a sudden
Yeah.
you look
No,
and you
that's
say,
fine.
this person is going to be the person that does this for the city, and those people go away. You go and you look at deputy mayors of neighborhood. You never hear from them. So what I'm saying
Never
is,
seen them in the neighborhood.
so what I'm saying is, this is the mayor that said the buck stops here as it relates to public safety. So when you look, all these things that are being neglected simply, and no one gets to say a word about it, that tells you that there's something wrong with the leadership.
Exactly. But you got time to do all this extracurricular. But you got time to give Thomas Cook extra time. But you got time to do all this covering up. But you got time, like, no.
So I just want to make clear, and this is what I was trying to do at the beginning. You are saying that the mayor needs to resign because of those things and how he handled Thomas Cook. Right now, as of what we know right now, again, as you stated earlier, the mayor has not been accused of sexual misconduct or sexual harassment. He made some he is what we know right now. Don't think too deep, Sam. What we know right now is he made some people uncomfortable.
These are all pieces of a giant puzzle that says he shouldn't be mayor. That's my point.
Okay.
It's not because of one thing. So it's not just because of his handling of Thomas Cook, even though that's enough, right?
Okay.
It's not just because it's his overall ineffectiveness and this stuff. Like, it's all the things. You can talk to anybody who works in the mayor's office right now. And let's talk about culture. Let's talk about all of the empty positions.
Oof.
You guys would be shocked
Absolutely
to know how much empty positions and why things aren't getting done, because there's probably not a supervisor in that role.
Yeah.
In the vicinity.
And again, if you can't go and talk to him, what's the point? If you can't say, man, this is messed up, what's the point? I think retaliation. I think there needs to be a bigger investigation on the retaliation. I think that if I can't think of what crime that would be, but it's basically like, if you don't do this, then I'm going to do this to you. I think we live in that right now. And I think that a lot of stuff is not getting done in our city simply because of the retaliation that'll take place if you try to hold him accountable. For me, I think the resignation needs to come simply because that so many truths are gone. At the end of the day, when we looked and all of a sudden the investigation was supposed to be done, once this stuff started coming out, he said he knew nothing about her personal relationship, where you find out he totally did.
Okay.
So all of a
Yep.
sudden, when you start finding the lies that the mayor told, then at that point his integrity has been compromised. And to me, that is the reason why he should
He's
resign.
still lying. He's lying on Russ McQuaid right now. And guess what? We've saw this at a federal level. We see it in Donald Trump. We're disgusted. But we see it in a Democrat here locally. And oh, well, no, it's not a oh, well, nothing. It's unacceptable no matter where it is, no matter who it is, no matter what they look like.
Okay. I hear you. I hear everything you're saying. And that what I wanted to walk away from, was there any one thing, or was this a combination of things that got us to people saying he needs to resign? And it sounds like what you just said is it's a combination.
It's a combination of things. Yeah.
And so with that said, we really got to go here in just a second.
Oh yeah.
But with that said, anybody think the mayor's going to resign?
That's a tough one.
We don't know. There could be more stuff.
I think that as as more stuff comes out and more people get behind it, I don't think this is one of my, I'll say it, I'm challenged that none of the African American or Black counselors have stepped forward. I'm so disappointed in them.
Super disappointed.
And it just baffles me.
Super disappointed,
But
because if these were Black women, would they have come forward?
Well, I think if it was a Black mayor, they would have came forward.
I ask myself that all the time, even about the stuff at the State House. Like I sit there, I do ask myself, if these were Black women coming forward, would we care more? Like, because it seems like we don't care. Like and I've seen some of the statements come out or whatever. In my opinion, they were weak about what happened in that city council meeting, because strength in that moment would have spoken up in that moment to say, hey, let her finish.
I bet
not a single one in that moment turned on their little mic and said, hey, let her finish. Jesse finally said, we can bring her back. Yeah, we can bring her back and let her finish. But it was and I want to leave room for, if they're in leadership in this city, they've probably experienced things too. So I want to leave room for folks who, like, literally they're just not in the space to take up for somebody else or whatever. And I feel that, but I would also venture to say that maybe you shouldn't be an elected leader.
I think that
I don't know.
Jesse did it in the last meeting, was like, when people come to the mic, we should allow them to speak. These are different. I think that we have to understand the type of citizens that are going to those meetings. Those people care enough to be there.
Most.
So when you start ousting those people, you're telling us something about the culture.
That's a fact.
I also wonder, you brought up, can't remember, one of you just said it. What would people think if these were Black women, or if the mayor was Black? But I think
he'd be gone.
But I think there's also a thought of, are these women getting all this attention now because they're white?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
I get it.
For facts. Like, I understand that perspective too, but I was just talking about, because Greg brought up the fact that our Black elected officials are disgustingly quiet.
Yeah. Other than Ron Gibson, and what he said was disgusting.
Oh my God, y'all, Martindale Brightwood. Let me tell y'all. Y'all got options.
Yeah,
you got options.
That ain't the one.
He's been put out from the council before.
Yeah, that is not the one.
So it wouldn't be his first time. You can go ahead and handle business. I'm just telling y'all. Brightwood, y'all need better representation.
So look, we're out of time because you guys have another show that you guys have to go do.
Yes.
And that's the show right there, The Black Briefing, which airs when and where.
So we shoot monthly. I know it breaks everybody's hearts when we say that. We try to throw some special episodes.
You're right on time this month, though.
I know. We are right on time this month. But yes, we've been dealing with family stuff, so we're a little late this time, and I apologize. But yes, we do shoot monthly. You can find us at Power to the Polls on YouTube. And it's, of course, me, Greg, Wild Style. One of the best things I think I've ever done, outside of my beautiful boys and ministry and stuff, is creating this podcast. I love this space. I love the feedback that y'all bring. And shout out to my husband. We 15 years in today.
That's right. Congratulations. Happy anniversary.
I love you, babe.
I do have to say, I like the set.
Yes,
I
yes,
like the
yes,
vibes
yes,
and I
yes.
like the graphics at the
P30,
bottom.
y'all.
I'm digging it. I like it. I like it. All right, you guys have to go because you have to go record
Yes.
Yeah.
that show. But this episode that you're about to do is right on time because, gee, what is there to talk about? And that drops when?
That will drop this weekend.
All right, drops this
Okay.
weekend. Greg, Sam, thank y'all so much for coming on the show. Thank y'all for making some time.
See y'all.
Busy day. Lots and lots to talk about. We'll see
Yeah.
what happens next week. There's more to this story of the
Yeah.
scandal in the
See ya.
mayor's office. We didn't even get to talk about who y'all think should run for mayor.
Oh man.
Ooh,
We're
I
not
have
gonna-
somebody I'm supporting.
And somebody else dropped an interesting name out on me earlier, but I was like, I could see that.
Oh Lord.
We'll have to have another show.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. We got to go. That's going to do it for this edition of Fox 59 Tonight. I'm Cameron Little. Join me on Sunday mornings on my radio show, Open Lines on 106.7 WTLC and Hot 100.9. And we are back here every night at 8 o'clock. Have a good night.